Dana, I want to take a moment and talk about our presentation explaining to professionals and groups Bitcoin, blockchain, NFTs, the Lightning Network, all these aspects that are just coming at us from our society and not going away, and how they can benefit from being in our training. Before we go any further, Dana, would you give our disclaimer?
Well, the biggest disclaimer is that we are not serving as investment advisors. We're not recommending that people invest in cryptocurrency. It can be very volatile, and you can read online about the volatility should you decide to invest. We're here just to provide general information.
And some good entertainment, because we have fun when we teach it.
Absolutely. Well, I think the first benefit, even if you don't want to invest in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, is to understand how they work generally. There are over 8,000 of them. You hear about the top 4 or 5, like Bitcoin and Litecoin and Dogecoin, but there are tons of them. And then a big story too, especially if you're serving industry, is this blockchain technology underlying all this, which is really applicable outside of crypto and in industry.
We'll give a course where we're explaining a little bit of the history, how it works, how to understand it, fundamental of the terminology. What does a hardware and software wallet look like and work with? These Bitcoin ATMs that are showing up. So when you're talking to someone, you're going to get, generally from your professional group, something real simple, a boilerplate, what you need to say. And when you notice, like I have today, 4 out of 5 young people in my city of Raleigh, North Carolina, they're either involved in it or know it. And when they go to a professional to trust and all they get is some type of brief boilerplate statement where you really don't understand what's going on, you're not going to build more trust to offer them other products and services.
Well, I think the funniest story I've heard is that there was a youngster who went to an advisor and said, I think I want to buy some Bitcoin. And the advisor said, well, you don't have enough money to buy one Bitcoin at $50,000, which was the price at the time. And, that's so laughable because you can buy fractions of it. You can get in for $1. And the video that we show, Martin, too, is just so eye-opening, isn't it? With the prices fluctuating on the magnitude of the buys and sells.
Yeah. The other piece is understanding how profound this is entering our world. I believe this is as significant as the internet coming into existence and electricity. We have a distributed form of value, not controlled by one government agency, that's now been in existence for 12 years, that allows me to transfer value for a very low cost across the world. And in some worlds, its currency, even with its volatile value fluctuating, it's more valuable and more stable than the currency I'm transferring. So it gives people who are unbanked an opportunity that never existed. It has a global effect coming in to this world, and I think it's as profound as the first automobiles. And where I think people are missing it is, one, sometimes they're falling in love with the blockchain and not realizing the brilliance is how it all works together. And that's what we explain in the course. They go, oh, the blockchain. In fact, one expert in the field said, falling in love with blockchain is like falling in love with the car transmission and missing the engine, the tires, the whole system together. And that's what we offer in this training, is understanding all of it. But when the car first came into existence, it was a smelly thing over there, where clearly a horse and buggy was a better form of transportation. You could go further, you don't have to carry or have this oily stuff that burns in it. You can go off-road better with a horse and buggy. I mean, it clearly was an inferior form of early transportation because there weren't roads and gas stations. And that, to me, is partially where we are with the Bitcoin world But don't underestimate it, because remember, the first light bulbs weren't great either. The first automobiles weren't great either. The early internet, in fact, was mainly taken over by criminals and stuff using new technology, which is what criminals do with new technology. I think many have missed the value and the gold and the brilliance of what it offers. When you get outside your comfort zone and learn a new system, you then find other patterns you may not have seen before looking back at your own world. And that's what we've put together.
We absolutely have. And, when I first started looking at crypto from an investment standpoint, I described it as like a worldwide horse race bet competition.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a very serious payment transfer system that is going to put pressure on the banks and credit card companies in terms of processing fees, from what we can tell, right, Martin?
Yep.
That's a huge trend. And if you don't know about, even if you don't believe, I can't buy any of that, it's too risky. Okay, you need to know that your customers and your clients are going to be asking, should I take cryptocurrency for payment? Because it's a payment processing system.
Right.
And, and it's becoming a bit of a novelty with some companies to do that.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to talk about is what you and I bring to the table, which I'm excited about. And in my case, I have a math computer science degree, and I've been from large companies down to small micro companies studying marketing, social media, reputation management online, along with the technical background. So I have a real passion of being able to take something very technical, understand it very deeply, and then explain it in a way that has references that are grounded in the real mechanics of how it works, that don't require the person to have a technical knowledge to understand it. And then you, with your financial experience and background, that's another aspect you bring to the table.
Well, and I love that we work together in that way, Martin, because you have an affinity for understanding new technology, and, as you say, breaking it down into terms that everyone can understand, and that's a real value. And then in my particular case, I have a penchant for this. Because I do have a great deal of experience in finance investments, and I'm a bit of an economics buff too. So when we included, for example, the history of money, because this is really kind of like a new currency, mm-hmm. and we outline the history of money and how we've evolved throughout the years from beaver pelts and other mm-hmm. commodities to where we are today and where this might take us. And in fact, the central banks around the world are all looking at coming out with their own digital currency as a result of this thrust. So it's just so rich that fits my background and my interests. And I think that's why I love doing this with you.
We want to let people know you can find out more about what we have to offer in the link below. We'd love to come to your group or association and offer the training. We can offer it over the web with a webinar like this, or in person, or in other formats available, sometimes a hybrid. I've done that, Dana, where I have cameras running and I'm in person so that they'll sell seats to their association remotely as well. We'd love to come to you. We're passionate about it. This is something that's changing almost daily, and we're working hard to make sure we stay current so you don't have to take that extra time and keep up with all this.
Absolutely. And we laugh because Martin and I call each other every day at the end of the day and say, what happened in crypto today? And I assure you, it's rich. Something happened today every single day.
Excellent. Thanks.